abscond, but they have been visibly absent. But we have our female umpire who is here with us, or here with me, very often. So, and she'll be here, she'll be joining us here today. So I want to first start by saying good evening to all our listeners, all those that call in, those that listen to us, those that comment elsewhere, those that are abroad in Miami, London, New York, Africa in particular. Good afternoon and good night. Good afternoon also to the owners and management of this station that would have given us the opportunity to come and speak into your lives. Good afternoon. And as I say every evening when I get here, this show is a little political commentary, but it is about analyzing the issues of the day using the cricket metaphor of the situation as it relates to governance in Trinidad and Tobago. So, of course, the government will always be represented as the batting team, and the bowling team will be represented as, or fielding team will be represented as the opposition. I should say the opposition represented as the bowling and fielding team. So every day we unpack a lot of issues that is in the news, or sometimes things that you would need to understand, and then we give you some either historical context, or we also help you understand some HR and employment law issues or principles that we have come to live by over time. We, as you know, we are professionals in our own right. We do have our own professions as human resource management professionals, employment law professionals, and so on. And we usually talk from that perspective from time to time. So today we will be giving you some of that also. Last night we ended the show talking a lot about recruitment, because we would have, applied the issue of some almost 19,000 students leaving the secondary school, the secondary school, and as new entrants into the workplace. And we would have given them a little bit of guidance on how they should comport themselves during an interview, what is expected of them. We'd also give employers some ideas as to how you structure recruitment, why you recruit, who you recruit, how you recruit, and we would have also given some data relative to what recruitment, how people are recruited in Trinidad and Tobago, and what are the issues in recruitment. Today we would continue on in that light to some extent, but we always like to start first by talking about some of the things that makes up the news of the day, and both internationally and locally. So maybe I would probably, one of the things that that was really sad to me, and it caught my eye since late last night, was that there was an accident on the Beetham Highway last night. And one of the sad things, I think someone died in that accident, but one of the sad things was that a passerby, someone who was driving either behind the young man that was killed in the accident, and saw when the accident took place, he stopped to see if he could assist in the accident. And as a good citizen, and I think he was beaten and robbed, and I think he was robbed something like $10,000. Now, I don't know why you would have had $10,000. People would have that kind of money on them for all kind of reasons in Trinidad and Tobago. This is Trinidad, cash based. we do everything with cash. But it was unfortunate that he was robbed. He was beaten and robbed, and he beat him after stopping to help somebody. Now, good citizens hearing this will now say to themselves, no matter what, they're not stopping on the beat them for no circumstance. They could see a man just get bounced on, a child just get bounced on, he ain't stopping, because one of the sad things is
a lovely day for cricket, blue skies and gentle breeze. The Indians are waiting now to play the West Indies. A signal from the umpire, the match is going to start. The cricketers come on the field, they all look very smart. Irapali Prasana, Gigi Boy and Wadeka, Krishna Murthy and Vishnu Mankad. Them boys could well play cricket on any kind of wicket. They make the West Indies team look so bad. We was in all kind of trouble. Joey Carew pull a muscle, Clive Lloyd get about 3 run out. We was in trouble without a doubt. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Venkataraghavan, Bedi in a turban, Vijay Jaishima, Jayantilal. They helped to win the series against the West Indies at Sabina Park and Queen's Park Oval. 158 by Kanai really sent our hopes up high. Noriega 9 for 95, the Indian team they still survive. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Rajan Jurani, Solka Abidali, Dilip Sadesai and Vishwanath. They make West Indies bowlers look like second raters when those fellows came out here to bat. West Indies tried holder and keep voice. They had no other choice. They even tried with Newton Dow, but a shot at the sorry they bring him now. It was Gavaskar, the real master, just like a wall. We couldn't out Gavaskar at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't out Gavaskar at all. Little Desmond Lewis, also Charlie Davis, they take a little...
Yeah, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We had to take a short break to deal with a minor technical issue. Yeah, so as I was saying, that what's unfortunate is that sometimes good citizens in situations like that would have stopped to lend assistance on the roadway, because as you know, there's a, you know, you don't leave in an accident, you try to assist as best as possible, and someone stopping on the beatum to assist and getting robbed. That is not a good thing for Trinidad and Tobago people. That should never happen. Doesn't matter where. You should always be able to assist someone when, you know, something like these things happen, because you would want someone to assist you. But what is sad is that you would stop to assist in a situation like this and you get robbed. That's unfortunate. So when I read that, you know, I said that, you know, it's something I would want to talk about. That says a lot about where we are, how we think, and you know, it says a lot about Trinidad and Tobago. So, I mean, those listening and those that might have known the person who do it, or those that were part of it, that are hearing us in some way, know that, you know, we're from on those kind of things. You shouldn't be doing them kind of thing in Trinidad and Tobago in this time. You shouldn't be looking to rob people that are trying to help the fellow men in something like an accident. Right? So I thought I needed to say that. On another note, we also talk a lot about the geopolitics, how they affect Trinidad and Tobago, and how they affect the world. That will ultimately affect us too. And one of the things that I like to talk about all the time, and this is something that is happening sometimes, things are happening that could almost bring about the end of existence in the world, and we are just normal, we jamming still, we normal, we know what's going on. But last week Friday, Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump had a meeting, and that meeting was a precursor to trying to bring to an end, or at least have a ceasefire on the violence that is taking place in Ukraine, between Russia and Ukraine. And last week I would have given some context as to why that would have happened, why that war would have started, in that special military operation by Russia would have started in the first place, and in my opinion, who would have been the main cause of it. And I would have pinpointed America, and in particular Biden, as the reason why that would have happened. But the reason why it has happened is besides the point, right? Russia didn't necessarily go into Ukraine because they wanted to destroy Ukraine. Russia went there to protect itself and its interests. The same thing America would have done, and in years gone by, America would have done that and did that, as a matter of fact, in the Cuban Missile Crisis. But the grass that gets trampled when the elephant fight, in this case, is Ukraine, because Ukraine can only be characterized as a proxy in this war. And now America, through its president, President Trump, I don't see him as a very sensible guy, but if he get this, if he managed to get a ceasefire, or even this war to end, I would give him a lot of applause for that, because Russia has no reason, given what the reason why they went into the war, to end this right now. And this is why most people don't really have confidence as to whether or not, as in this war ending, or this coming to an end, based on what the reason, or the reasoning why Russia went into Ukraine in the first place. Ukraine, a tough cookie. They're going on fighting, and we know they're not fighting, and we know this war is really not a war between Russia and Ukraine, but a war against Russia, America, and the greater part of NATO, which is Europe. We know that. We know to a large extent they are funding the war, and therefore they should be the ones taking responsible for all the lives that are lost. More than 1 million people has died in that war already, albeit the majority soldiers, persons who were combatants. But nevertheless, there are people, and a lot of people have died in that special military operation thus far. And that is something that the world has to take particular cognizance of, especially the fact that, you know, how they are trying to bring about an end to it in ways that you know for sure it ain't going to end, right? Because they spoke to Russia first. The president of the US had a meeting with Putin first, and then I think it was Monday there was a meeting with Zelensky and some of Giorgia Meloni, which is the president of Italy, and you had, of course, France, Macron, and the British Prime Minister, and a couple of others, the German Merckx, and a couple of others, a couple of them who were part of the team that met with Trump. If only for the way they are trying to do it. Russia, of course, is seeing through it, and for more reasons than one, that war will not end, because Russia will not change what they are asking for, and they are simply asking for America and Europe and NATO to recognize the reason why the war started in the first place. And if you are not recognizing that or even understanding that, Ukraine will remain a proxy, just like what may happen in China, because they're just waiting for this thing to finish in Ukraine, to go to China and make that other nation that they are trying to do the same thing with in China, for which China sees as part of one China, another proxy. And that's how they operate. But why I'm saying all of this is because those issues there and those kind of hegemonic behavior practiced by the US and Europe is going to affect you in Trinidad and Tobago. Whatever they do, it is already affecting us. It is affecting the world over. And one of the good things that is coming out of that is that other very powerful nations are coming together. They are seeing through what the US is doing and trying to be the world hegemony, or trying to maintain its status as the world hegemon, and they are coming together to insulate themselves from tariffs, because of course the US dollar is the world reserve currency, and as a result of that they militarize the dollar in ways that through using tariffs to prevent certain countries from access to certain things. And as a result, how it will affect Trinidad and Tobago obviously will make things a lot more expensive for us. And because we are a nation that consumes only, things will become much more expensive. We're talking inflation, we're talking all kind of other things. And on this show, we talk a lot about what the things that we can do to get out of these kind of situations, the things that we can do to develop our nation in ways that we are no longer just a nation that consume, but we are a nation that have something else to bargain, right? And not just look at oil and gas, because to a large extent that is where we have been going since some years after our independence, and that has become our cocaine. But and to a large extent, that have prevented us from thinking in ways that, thinking about spreading our eggs, and not spreading our eggs, but looking at other means of diversification to be able to survive in a world where oil and gas may not necessarily be the product that will take us out, that will make us very that will make us, put us in a place where we can survive for a sustained period of time, because of course those are resources that could become extinct at some point of time, and therefore we should probably be thinking about more progressive kind of development. Not saying that oil and gas is not it. There are nations, if you look at places like the United Arab Emirates and what they have done with oil and gas, you look at places like Norway and their sovereign wealth fund. We, for whatever reason, we suffered with the Dutch disease, so we only see oil and gas and its effects, or we only see oil and gas as, you know, or be all and end all, and as a result of that, we are having the kind of problems we are having today, because we didn't really save the amount or invest in a way. And I was reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. We didn't see the value in investing and living on our investment, as opposed to just living on the eggs that we get today, and eating all and having none for tomorrow. So all of these things are things that, you know, we have to consider. We have to consider what is happening out there and how it will affect us, how it affects us daily. And, you know, on this program we talk a lot about means by which we can, things that we can do to develop ourselves differently. And those are the things that that are important to us on this show. So we will, of course, invite you to call in and, you know, share your comments or your thoughts on those issues. Good evening, caller. Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Is there a topic? What is the topic we're speaking about today?
Well, you could call and
now?
You could call and, you know, the ethos of this show. You could call and talk about anything. What do you want to talk about?
Well, then, what was this long? Well, because I was just listening to you.
No, well, then, if you was listening, you'd hear what we were talking about.
To talk about, right?
What you want? You have plenty free credit. I was just talking about the geopolitics, what is happening with Russia and.
Well, I heard all those different things, but I was looking. I thought you were bringing a topic that you question.
No, well, we talk. There's nothing in particular. We talk about geopolitics. We talk about the issues. Did you hear me talk about the accident on the Beatum this morning? Last night.
That's what I mean, and I was waiting to think you were going. I better open the phone from the time you just say your 2-minute preamble and then let people talk, because
okay,
you have my head confused.
Okay,
you have my brain.
Okay,
confused
well, you want to hang up and listen to me and call back when I say something that you can.
No, I just want to hang up, but I don't want to hang up and listen to you again. You talk enough. I will hang up and listen to other callers.
Okay, no problem.
Have a good afternoon.
Yes. Right. So yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, listen to the discussion, and you can chime in anytime, and you could say your part in relation to what we talk about and how we, you know, how we see things, because we have our own opinion, and you have yours also. So you could chime in at any time and share your thoughts. But I was saying, to a large extent, I was talking, just going on what we would usually, in the direction we would usually go on evenings. And every evening you listen to us, we talk about things that will be good for the development of Trinidad and Tobago. We talk about, for the last few days, the last few shows, we talk a lot about productivity and how that by itself, what are the things that affect productivity, what are the catalysts that would, the things that would make us more productive, how governance or good governance will assist in facilitating better productivity in Trinidad and Tobago. We talk about the transportation network, how the transportation network addressing the issue of persons spending 2 and 3 hours on the road after work, and the same thing to work in the morning. That is 6 hours lost. If you multiply that by the amount of people who is trying to get to work and go home on evenings, and that time loss, you will see how much time and how much money the country lost just in that. And I was saying to a few colleagues today, if government will just, it doesn't cost anything to do these things. If you say you were to give the Chinese, say, a project to build the best roads and the best railways in Trinidad, right? Free of cost. They build it free of cost and they manage it for, say, 20 years. They put a toll on it, and to get back the money, that in itself will help us a lot with productivity, and we will have more money to it. Probably we will be able to pay back for it faster than even the contract, the 20-year contract we give the Chinese to be able to recover the money back. And all these things are things that we could think about, that could make life much easier for us and make life easier, more revenue generation for us in Trinidad and Tobago. Let's take this call. Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Matterson.
Yeah.
Mr. Matterson, I take note of your comments and your suggestions. I think it's a good one. But what happens, I mean, yesterday was an accident somewhere, and I send condolences to the family of those people who lost their lives. But, you know, from time to time you find that when these things happen, you have traffic from miles in the place. I mean, that's up in 2025. And if in fact they realize that, you know, the damage that is done to the economy and done to, you know, generally, something has to be done. In Trinidad, we don't have think tanks. We don't have those people within the police service and all these things, people who regulate traffic and who are responsible for traffic and these things on the road, so that you could deal with the matter much swifter, so that people could get to their destination, wherever they go, who's going to doctor, who's going to hospital or clinic, who's going there, I mean, something has to be done.
Well, one thing I noted last night in that accident, we had a lot of police and fire services and things, but the accident wasn't on the road. I mean, it was off the road, so it had no cars on the road. The carnage wasn't on the road itself, so I couldn't understand the reason for the traffic, you know, because it was far off the road.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, that make it worse.
Exactly.
But I'm saying that they have to deal with that in 2025.
Yeah.
And if there's a problem, you have to solve a problem. That is what government is there for. That is what agencies such as the police, you have problems, traffic problems as a result of some accidents. You have to move in such a manner with some alacrity to have this matter resolved. I don't know if this is a 2x4 country.
Yeah, everything on with regards to the road and police and transportation and things seems to be like you're pulling teeth from a a lion kind of thing. You know, everything is like it's so difficult to just think through. It's unfair to the public too, and unfair to
It's unfair.
you know.
It's unfair. And I'm saying this thing seems to be a perennial problem. It's on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And in 2025, and I'm saying that you need people in departments, in government, who could think, who could come up with ideas, who could solve problems, and not leave problems to solve themselves.
The funny thing, Kola, is that when you really want the services of these entities like the police and the ambulance and fire and that kind of thing, to me, you don't get it. It takes so long to get it, and then when they arrive, sometimes they cause even more problems with traffic congestion and that kind of thing. So sometimes you wonder. I travel, and sometimes I see things happen in big countries. And in the first place, when you have a situation like an accident or somebody got injured on a building or something like that in the US, it's not just the ambulance came and they come quicker. It's not just the ambulance come. You have all the arms because they don't know exactly what, they come prepared, but everybody comes. Fire services come, ambulance come, police come, psychologists come, everybody comes. The thing is, we don't have those resources here in Trinidad and Tobago.
The thing about it is that we are in 2025. People talk about third world. People say, well, no third world again. We talk about developing countries, developing world, and all these things. But we are left behind. And while we are left behind, we don't have people who are thinking out of the box. And they're not just thinking, but there seems to be an unwillingness, a reluctance to move this country forward. And I don't think it will take much.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I agree with you. I don't know if we just be seeing something that they not seeing, because to me, we must call back the batsman for the other side that came and that was on radio with us some days ago, Philip Alexander, because he spoke a lot before elections. He had a lot of good ideas, so we don't know, maybe he's telling them and they are working on things we might see after the budget. I don't know. But he has some good ideas.
Yeah, but I know he is a man who has he usually generates good ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying sometimes you generate good ideas and you have those people who would oppose everything. That can't work. This can't think. This can't that. And I don't think that to resolve that problem, it requires much. I don't think so. And I'm saying that because what I'm saying, there's best practice all over the world. If you go in England, if you think you could see an accident in the center of London and some vehicles and they have to remain there for 4, 5, 6 hours, you go to Canada, would you see that? So you have to find out how they deal with it. You could do that. And you implement that here, implement that look for best practice. That people always talk, you don't need to reinvent anything.
Exactly.
Right,
you don't need to reinvent. This is the same thing I say all the time. You don't need to reinvent nothing. Everything is here. I mean, we don't have a monopoly on thinking here. So, a lot of people say the same thing. Why is it that it just not happening?
Well, I really, but something has to give. And it is the people who must agitate. When I say agitate, I am talking about, I am talking people who must urge the government to try to work with the government to come up with solutions to those problems, to resolve these, because these things going on for too long and it doesn't leave this country in good light, whether nationally or internationally. Because you have people coming from all over and they say, what kind of this that third world?
But Kola, what do you think about that? I mean, apart from the traffic and that kind of thing, the fact that someone stopped, maybe before the police came last night, to assist the person or persons that were probably injured in the accident, and that person was robbed beaten and robbed, and $10,000 were taken, robbed of $10,000. What do you think about that?
Well, a couple of years ago, I think the police were more sensitive to what the things happening along that beacon there. And there used to be highway patrol or police moving along the highway and whatnot. I don't know if these people say, because that could be a deterrent.
Yeah, because I mean, it will also be what happened there would also be a deterrent to someone trying to be a good fellow man and stopping to assist someone on the highway.
But this is it. But I'm saying, one of the ways that we could deal, and I think it is unfair, it's unjust to this person to be robbed there. But I'm saying that we know that has been happening for quite some time. And one of the ways in which the authorities, the powers that be, sought to deal with that situation was by putting highway patrol and police patrolling that area. You need police to patrol that area at night.
Yeah.
Because if in fact you don't have any there, they need to put one again. I want to use it as a alacrity. Because I'm saying my car broke down there some years ago, you know, and it was about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I was in, but somehow a friend came down with a vehicle, a van, and he picked me up and drove me down the road. But I'm saying I was very scared because I know all they do is run up from there and all of them run back, and when you think you've helped you, then people coming to rob you and beat you and all that kind of thing. So I'm saying that government has to be mindful of what's taking place because Trinidad is a high crime zone. You know Trinidad is endemic with crime. And you can't hide from that. And I would say that everybody knows that. This crime in this country is endemic. And that Beacon Highway is a dangerous place. And you need to have police strategically located around or traveling along that area there, traversing that area in order to protect the lives of persons, of commuters, or probably people driving the vehicles or running or moving along that area.
Now, in all fairness, you know, that's a highway I travels in the night regular, and the police is usually always somewhere in that area. You will see the lights. You will see either they park up by the gas station, or they are somewhere on the highway. So they do that, but there's always the unguarded moment. An accident take place a little higher up, and you know, before they run to help the person that is in the accident, they run to rob the person in the accident, and that to me is unfortunate as a Trinidadian. You know, that's just sad. I mean, that's barbaric. You don't do them things.
But if in fact they are they are doing their duty with respect to protecting the people, they're being present on the highway or the vicinity of the highway and that kind of thing, that is good. But if in fact if they are not there, they need to up their game.
Correct.
Hello?
Correct. Yeah. All right, caller. So I want to introduce our female umpire. She's here today, and you know what? The show will be better when she's here. When she's here on the show, you know, the conversation sometimes just flow differently. So, tell your audiences good evening. I mean, we're going for a break just now.
Yeah, we're going for a break just now. But good evening to you all. The conversation is going well, so I'll jump in when I have to jump in. We have 47 seconds, Matheson.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be going to take a little tea break. We're going to pay some bills. And we will come back, and when we come back, we have a lot more to unpack to you, discussions in relation to the goings on in the news today, and also we want to talk to you a little bit about you know, our profession and what we do, right? So we'll come back shortly. We are going to take a break.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Live on the street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health, performance, and disease. Join him as he gives live testimonials of the Lviv healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079, or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember,
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM.
The #1 bookstore in Trinidad is having the biggest back-to-school sale for the holidays.
Shop at Sharon's Bookstore for the biggest back-to-school sale.
All your kindergarten, preschool,
primary, secondary school,
and tertiary education supplies at ridiculously low prices. Sharon's also carries a wide range of sneakers, socks, t-shirts, vests for girls and boys,
and much more items for school. So don't miss Sharon's back-to-school sale.
Now on Eastern Main Road, San Juan, Tunapuna.
2 locations at Trin City Mall, ground level and first level. We're also open on Sundays from 8 a.m. Check us on Facebook for up-to-date info and promotions. Also, message us for a quick response.
If you love summer and you love pizza, then you'll love Pizza Hut's all-you-can-eat summer. Head to the Hut for a big buffet every day. Then simply upload your receipt to our social media pages for a chance to win a PlayStation 5, a 5-island cabana experience for you and 9 friends, and so much more. Check our socials for details. Pizza Hut, now that's delivering.
This Java, get ready to chase the crunch with KFC. Dip it, dunk it, and drip it with our juiciest chicken tenders ever for as low as $29.95.
It's Java, it's summertime. KFC makes it all come alive. Big limes turn into big appetites. It's the beach with KFC. Yeah.
Choose our hot and spicy or extra crispy non-spicy tenders and dip, dunk, and drip into our flavorful sauces, Java style.
To the spice of the summer, let's go.
So, chase the crunch and make Java finger-licking good with KFC.
I love you.
The Trinidad and Tobago Council of Evangelical Churches, together with national cultural icon Mr. William Monroe, presents the first ever national concert of choirs, Divine Harmonies, Saturday, December 6, 2025, at the Grandstand, Queen's Park, Savannah. Choirs will be competing for prize money to the tune of $250,000, with the winner walking away with the grand prize of $100,000. We invite all church choirs nationwide to participate in this spiritual, cultural, and musical richness that will bring upliftment to our nation and redound to the glory of God. Tickets will be available August 15th from Maranatha Bookstore and outlets of the Trinidad and Tobago Council of Evangelical Churches. For more information, call 719-9599 or 497-0361. Divine Harmonies, ushering in the glory of God. This is Apostle Anthony Golson, and I'm inviting you to be there.
Don't miss the biggest price meltdown at Furniture Plus this summer. Shop dining room sets from $15.99, bedroom combos from $20.69, plus free delivery with select living room furniture. Shop the best deals at Furniture Plus today.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM radio. Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Issue Ikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifabamishe Aganki, better known as MC Duke.
And every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight,
I host a show called Orisha, The Way of Life, right here on the Sheet 919 FM, where I have guests passing through from the Orisha Ifa Baptist diaspora to educate, edify, and inform you, the listening public, about Orisha Ifa practices. So remember to tune in
every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight
for Orisha, The Way of Life.
Looking for a preschool for your child? Well, look no further. At Leaping Learners Preschool, we believe that every child deserves a jumpstart to success in a safe and loving environment. We prepare your little ones for primary school while giving them the care and attention they deserve, whether they're 3 or 7 years old. At Leaping Learners Preschool, we cater to children with special needs and provide long hours of care from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. so you can rest easy knowing your child is in good hands. And for our tiniest learners, babies aged 3 months to 2 years, we offer nurturing daycare services to help them grow and thrive. Join the Leaping Learners family today. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Leaping Learners Preschool or visit our website at leapinglearnerstt.com to learn more. We are located in Barataria. Called 744-1523. That's 744-1523. Your child's future begins with a leap.
Tune in to The Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 to 186 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. For the program, Health and Healing, merging the old with the new, with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on The Street 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes, callers and listeners, we are back. I'm here today again with my co-host, female umpire, Simoya Sandyford, and we are giving some commentary on what's happening on the wicket.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the accident on the Beatum earlier on, and we were talking about some other issues with respect to the geopolitics and how it affects Trinidad and Tobago. I like to talk about that in particular because those things, sometimes we are asleep in Trinidad and Tobago, and some of the things that are happening out there could affect us in ways that sometimes we can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So, you know, those things are critical to me, and it should be critical to you also.
Of course.
Right? You know, yesterday we ended the show. Remember how we ended the show yesterday? So we were talking a little HR, we were talking about, about
recruitment, things like that.
And selection and that kind of thing. And I was reading the papers today, and I was reading the papers on the termination of the former central bank governor, Dr. Hilaire. And he was saying that he was suing the government for a $9-point-something million or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes people want, sometimes, citizens, I mean, it's a perennial thing. It's something that happens every time a government change.
Yeah.
Especially. Both parties do it. For whatever reason. I don't know why. I mean, sometimes they will give you the answer will be that, well, we want people who understand our vision and our position.
Yeah.
And we want people who are like us. And therefore, it doesn't matter. We want those people in office. We want those people to manage our affairs and help us with our strategy. And therefore, those who were there before, you had to go. Right? I mean, you don't really care how you go. You just had to go You fight up. If you want, you could go to court. Next 5 years, you might win. We would not have to pay it anyway. And so sometimes that is the attitude of persons in government. And sometimes they may have some legitimacy in doing that because, you know, every company, you are the owners of capital, you might want the best person to carry out your strategy. And you might feel that you feel that you have the prerogative to hire who you want and move who you want once you are in charge. It does not necessarily work like that in Trinidad and Tobago, or the courts of Trinidad and Tobago. And if in the case of Dr. Heller, of course he will go to the High Court on a matter like this on wrongful termination, as opposed to unfair termination in the industrial court as a worker. And even the common law in cases like that, he will be awarded money because he had a contract. And whether, I always say, whether it's a written contract or a verbal contract or however the contract was instituted, you have to respect that contract, that relationship that was created when the contract was formed. And therefore, you know, parties, not just government, but companies do it also. Private companies do it also. You just have this feeling that, listen, this is my ship, and I am the owner of this capital, and therefore I have the prerogative to terminate you in ways that. So you've seen it played out there. I was reading the article, and I was reading about what he said he was told by the minister Kennedy Siraj Singh, and you know, that kind of thing. And so this is the government is in office, they are batting, and they might have to take some licks for some of these things also, because they do it too, right? So it happens under both government. And what we have to understand at the end of the day, while we understand you might want people that looks like you, or people that might be willing to sing with you and to work with you synergistically to get the job done, you also have to understand there's a right that was created under a contract, and therefore you cannot just terminate people or move people just like that without certain kind of agreement and you know, that kind of thing to be able to do so. So, you know, if we were to break that down, because if we were to go right down to the small man in the workplace, why sometimes employers use contracts, fixed term contracts, to retain them or to engage them, sometimes without even understanding the ramifications of it as an employer. It is sometimes sad, to say the least, because as we say yesterday, these things come with huge cost when you mock up.
Correct.
And sometimes not even understanding. So sometimes an employer will give you a fixed term contract because they feel it might be the better way to continue and to have you like carrot and a stick. If you perform, if we like how you're working, if we like if you're doing what we wanted to do, how we wanted to do it, whether illegal or not, then we will keep you. We will give you an next contract. But according to the law, according to what is good industrial relations practice, and I'm talking here about unfair termination in the industrial court, according to what is good industrial relations practice, it do work like that. Everybody. We don't really want to know if you had a contract. We want to know if you was a worker. We want to know how long you have been working, not even necessarily how long, how were you engaged? So once you had so some people sometimes misunderstand was a contract of service and a contract for service, right? So the contract for service, of course, will be the one where you employ somebody for a specific project.
Yeah.
And you give them a project. They know they're working for this project. You don't really have much controls. You get paid when you do the project. It's like you're on a retainer. That's those kind of contract. Now, when that ends, you could choose to renew it if you want. You could choose not to renew it.
Right.
You have no, as the owner, the contractor or the business.
Right.
They don't really have any. When that contract ends, it ends.
Yeah.
So you have no risk in litigation.
Right.
On the other hand, if you have a worker for which you are controlling, he's working 8 to 4, you're paying the taxes, right? You're disciplining him, you're doing all that kind of thing, and you give him a fixed term contract, but that job for which you give him that contract continues to exist.
Yeah.
Therefore, that person now has a legitimate expectation, and therefore, it will be very difficult without using performance management, for which we spoke about yesterday, without using performance management and all the different elements to manage and discipline and train and all that kind of thing to the worker, then it will be very difficult for you to now come and say somebody else taking the job because your contract ended.
Correct.
And it is something that the government do also.
Yeah, well, it is part of the whole contract employment system right now. And as a matter of fact, I know of people who are on part of this contract arrangement for over 10 years, consecutive contracts being issued to them.
And then one day somebody come and say, see you, me, I really like you, I want to ask somebody else to bring you.
Exactly.
Behind closed doors.
Yep.
And boom.
Then we find ourselves in
boom.
Problems.
Yeah,
another thing with that.
Contract ending tomorrow, and they give you the letter. They give you a letter tomorrow saying your contract ended today,
yep.
And as a result, you no longer you can't come back in office. That is summary dismissal.
Yep.
You know that.
Yeah.
And that is just crazy. People do that all the time. Companies do that all the time.
A lot.
And that is grounds for serious.
Well, what about companies then that have I'm saying companies, but sticking with the public sector, they have these contract arrangements, but at the end of the contract, you are required to re-interview for your position.
That's the next thing, they do that.
That's another issue.
Now, I could see that happening if you do, let's say you do a strategic plan and you tell everybody, listen, we're going to realign the company. So you're doing a strategic realignment, and therefore you're changing the positions, you're changing your strategy,
the scope, everything.
You're changing how the work going to take place. And you want to realign people. So in other words, you kind of mash up the company.
Yeah.
But even if you do that, then you will have to consider a retrenchment package.
Yeah.
Because you cannot tell me I have to reapply for my job or reapply for a job, but it didn't end my contract in the way it should have ended.
Yeah.
Meaning end the performance of my contract, end the working relationship. Because if you end in the working relationship, then it's a separation.
Yeah.
And
you will have to
have some kind of separation package, whether it's a VSEP or whether you go the way of the retrenchment under the Retrenchment and Severance Benefit Act. So they do that all the time. Callers, if you have situation or you know of situation like this and you want to call us and to discuss these kind of things, this is the time we could have these kind of discussions with you this evening. Yeah? Yeah, so these are the things that sometimes employers do, and sometimes they do it without the understanding. Sometimes they do it without calling in professionals
to get that information.
And or sometimes they do it thinking that they could do it because the first thing is they will tell you is that, hey, this man have a contract. And this man know he contract coming to end XYZ day.
Yeah.
Not forgetting that this person was the same worker who was on the same contract for years.
Yeah.
And the job didn't change. You want them to do the same thing.
Now, a lot of people like to wait until coming down to the end of the contract to start to talk about performance.
That's the next thing.
That is that's a big no. Yeah. That performance management had to happen continuously. At the end of every contract year, you do your performance appraisal. But even before that, you still have to have the continuous feedback. You need to have the continuous discussions. I realize people also don't like to put things in writing. So when you are coming down to the end and you are saying, especially for public sector, you want to take, you don't recommend. On what grounds are you not recommending?
Exactly.
Especially if the person has consecutive contracts where they performed well.
Exactly. You say
things were nice.
So you just don't like that man. You just don't like how that
you can't do it. So on. That's where they get upset with HR.
Exactly.
You can't do it like that.
So I was working for a company at a time, and that's the next thing. I was working for a company at a time when I was a worker as a HR manager, and an employer called me at night about 2:00 in the morning. I was shocked. But this man usually he would call you that kind of hour, and he said. Call me and tell me about a particular lady he was viewing in the camera who on her break time she would be in the corridor talking to this guy and she said, I want you to fire that man. I want you to fire her. I said, fire her, you say? I said, no, it don't work like that. I can't just fire her. He said, we're not paying you. We're not paying you all this money to tell us what to do. We're telling you to fire that person.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was the end of me because, I mean, I have a certain kind of integrity.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. You see, when you fire and the person take you up and you go to court, your name on the records, your name on the records for hundreds of years.
Yep.
You ever pick up a judgment and read that judgment was written in the 18th century?
Yep, and that is your career, your HR reputation.
Yeah, that your name there for years.
Especially if the employee decide they're going and protest and make a scene and call your name.
So you pick up a judgment and you're going to argue a matter and you pick up a judgment to use in a case. And you're watching a name and you say, but this man was so stupid, boy. How we do that? You know? So as professionals, you just had to be concerned about that too.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I learned very, very early in HR is that as an HR manager, you are advocate for the employer, but you are also advocate for employees. So you have to be concerned about the things. You're not just looking at the interests of the employer. You're also looking at the interests of the employees also. You are a partner. Right, a strategic partner, but you are also advocate for the employees too, and advocate for the employer. So as HR, you have to be mindful of all these things. And I'm telling you this as a consultant. You have to be mindful of all these things because these things have ramifications for your existence and your reputation down the road as a HR person.
Correct. And I think even sometimes a lot of these things are so burdensome on the practitioners. Companies are trying to go the easy way and just hire a one-man show or a generalist to specialize in all these areas. That's why we're running into some of these problems.
No, I mean, you're correct. Sometimes it's like taking a man now come out of university as a doctor and putting him to work on your mother who have a brain tumor.
Yeah, I mean, a generalist is not a specialist.
You where you need a specialist, right? So you'll call an attorney who probably just doing criminal, doing all kind of thing, and he don't even understand employment law.
Yeah, and he will take licks in industrial court.
But of course, yes,
he will take licks.
Some kind of mistakes.
Attorney doesn't mean that you are
you
go into the court and do that.
Who understand HR,
correct?
Who understand employment law. And those are the ones who will more than likely assist you in dealing with these situations. Let's take this caller. Good evening, caller.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Oh, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes. I was listening to your program. I was driving coming home. And this is the second time I heard that female caller call, and she's trying to, I mean, you can't tell a host how to run their program. You are the host, you and the lady there. If you all are speaking something I don't want to hear, your radio have a button, switch to next station. Yesterday I listened to her talking about Israel and Putin and these leaders. Let me tell you, I want to tell her, y'all are younger than me, but I could tell y'all, when I was growing up in QF in the 60s, my father used to make us listen. In those days was just TTT. And we have to look at the news. And I could remember, I could have been 8, 9 years old. And I used to see Israel and Palestine. It's now them signing peace treaty. Way back in the 60s, they signed peace treaties. And Israel breaks it.
All the time.
I remember once they signed a peace treaty in December. And from the time January started, they break it. And I turned to my father and I said, but didn't they just sign a peace treaty in December? And my father said to me, he said, well, maybe because people consider December the holy month. So they signed a peace treaty because it was Christmas coming. And brother, as the new year started,
whoa,
they went back to fighting, bombing. And now them bombing Palestine.
Yeah.
And up to today. So what that lady talking about, and leaders coming together, lady, I could tell you how much peace treaty Israel and Palestine start, and we in 2025. They're still signing peace treaty, and they're still breaking it. Israel breaking the peace treaty. So them coming together, I waste of time. So that's what I call to tell y'all.
Yeah,
and don't let her tell y'all how to run your program. That is your program. You run it how you see fit.
Thank you, Kola.
Y'all have a blessed day. Yeah. Reach home safe.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So
bye.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the thing is, as we were saying, contracts and how we administrate contracts as professionals in the workplace
100%
is very, very important. So someone was telling me yesterday also, let's take this call. Good evening, caller.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
To the umpire and the lady umpire.
Yeah.
What I want to ask, right, this is the only second time I ever get through to you, but I've always missed that, right? This is because in nature of my work now, I can't always get the opportunity to call. So, but I'll lucky today. I just want to ask a question. I heard you said something where, well, very earlier on when your program now started about, we suffering from the Dutch syndrome or the Dutch disease where we only see and we don't see food in our noses because of the oil and gas. So I just want to ask a question. Some might say I'm being facetious, but I don't think so. How is it? Okay, we inherited sugar and rice and the cocoa plantation, the system of that, the truly colonial masters, right? We took it over. We had colony and whatever. So we had what you call it, governments that have come and gone from then till now. You said that, look at the certain countries in the Middle East, they were able to build their society based upon that alone. So that means they would diversify, create a downstream, have byproducts, and the list goes on. Also to our leaders, from the inception till now, from the business to earth, didn't have that vision. Why we end up in this place? Is it that they are clueless? That is just my question. People might think I'm being, I know. Because for you to say, look where we are. Now, I am not an economist or the list goes on. I'm just being logical. I'm just being straight. That is just I have that question to ask. Just look and listen, and the program is always as good as, always lovely and good. Keep up the good work.
Okay. So, caller, what I will tell you, right, is that, you know, water takes the least resistance. And it's the same thing with human beings. If you think that you are getting through, if you have oil and gas, and that's one of the sign of the Dutch disease. If you have oil and gas and you getting through with it, right, while it's a non-renewable resource, you think you're getting through with it all the time. You will always have it, and your people happy. It is in demand. You're making a lot of money from it. You will hardly think about, if you're not thinking, you would hardly think about other ways to diversify your economy, or other things that may seem harder. And that is the problem, or that is what would have happened with Trinidad and Tobago over the years. So we had a thriving agriculture sector long ago, you know, in the 70s, the 60s and the 70s and thing. I think, if I'm not making a mistake, there were things we used to export, right? But for whatever reason, oil and gas was the least resistance, right? We were getting a lot of revenue from it. We weren't, in the opinion of many, we weren't putting out much to do it. And therefore, we would have given up the things that we thought was harder.
Yeah.
Not thinking that maybe we should have been investing a lot of that money that we was earning from oil and gas, and we should have been diversifying in areas where, when that oil and gas dry up, or that income that we was getting from that dry up, we have other things to fall back on, right? And we have other things like investments and that kind of thing, like what places like Norway and even Guyana is trying to do now, in terms of saving for a rainy day, or investing, so that even when the oil and gas done, that investment could give you the same salary, or the same income, or better income than what you was getting from the oil and gas. We didn't do that. But not only we didn't do that, we didn't strengthen other sectors of the economy so that we would be able to manufacture in other areas. We didn't use some of the downstream and that kind of thing to facilitate other kind of manufacturing and that kind of thing. And that's where we are today. And it's sad. I mean, it's not hard to see it. It's just sad. So I really hope that even if we get another opportunity, another shot at it, we will change the way we see things, and how we do investment, and how we see development. Because there are a lot of things that Trinidad and Tobago could do very easily to change our situation. But you just have to have thinking people to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So I hope that answers your question, caller. You aren't the only person seeing it. A lot of us seen it. It's just sad that the people who were supposed to see it wasn't seeing it. Right? So as we were saying, we were talking about contracts. We were talking about, and this would have come out of the article with Dr. Hilly and the fact that he was moved before his contract end, or his term end, and he was saying that he was moved by illegal means, because obviously under the act that governs the central bank, you can't just really just move a central bank governor just like that, right? So it wasn't just a breach of contract. Well, it's a breach of contract in some ways, anyhow you take it, but it was a different kind of breach that they will deal with at the High Court. Right? But we were talking in general about contract and contract law and contract workers' contract. Yesterday, someone was talking about the relationship between the contract that governs workers in where there's a unionized environment as opposed to a non-unionized environment.
Yeah.
And I always say that to me, a unionized environment, I say to my employers, a unionized environment, in my opinion, is an easier environment to manage.
Because you're guided by the collective agreement.
Because, exactly.
And you can't, now, for some people, it might be a HR person's nightmare because they are going to be on your neck.
Exactly.
About it.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the things that, in my career experience, I have seen where companies try to go the easy route by saying, here, what, let's bring in someone to provide services. So that's the contract for service. Yeah? But you have this person here, but you continue to give them 3 months, consecutive 3-month contract, and the union is then saying to you, but there's a need for this job. You are basically trying to avoid paying the benefits of this person, because if you are giving them 3 months, they can't, it's not benefiting them in any way. They don't have leave.
But that may be a product of a bad collective agreement in the first place, because what happens is that the reason why the employer might be telling themselves, well, better we just bring him, call them something else and bring some other short-term employment to do that, is because you didn't negotiate your collective agreement properly, right? You allow the union to bulldoze you and to do things that you didn't understand. You didn't have the right person assisting you in that collective agreement, and you find that happens even with the government.
Yeah.
This is why I always say, pay for performance. If you negotiate a collective agreement and you put a lot of emphasis in performance for pay for performance, then you would hardly have those you would hardly have reasons
to have these incidents,
to have these kind of problems, or you would hardly have these kind of problems, because parties will understand the contract will be progressive. It will that same thing you were talking about yesterday, where you were talking about any other related duties, right? You don't necessarily have to put any other related duties, but you could put provisions in the collective agreement that talks about changes in the workplace from time to time, right? And employers doesn't understand that sometimes the person who would have advising them in collective agreements, they don't understand that either, and you end up with a lot of problems after a few years, and then you realize, hey, it is difficult now to manage this workforce with this collective agreement or with this union, and then you find you think it is difficult, but some of the challenges with large workforce without who adopt this kind of unitary perspective in managing contract and with the workplace, not trying to keep unions out. What happened is that when you start having problems, you might have 10 unions coming at you. Different unions. Whereas if you had a collective agreement, you would have had a grievance procedure in that collective agreement. And
there'd be a procedure.
It would have been governed. So it's everything now. You have a policy to do things. So it is difficult now for a union to go awry. Right?
They have to stay within the
They have to stay within the framework of the collective agreement. And that is some of the problems we have in society today. I mean, poor, bad collective agreements, poor negotiation by management, and you don't necessarily a union don't have to bulldoze it. There are ways you could treat with them things. So
there's a need for strong IR presence.
Exactly.
And if companies don't see
Let's take this call. Let's take this call. Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon. This is your program, sir. I would like to know why the opposition don't like the Spaniel Ground law, the Spaniel Ground thing. And I would like to know why plenty people calling in and talking against it. Where it has crime like this in this country. Now, they don't like a licensed rifle, but they like the unlicensed one. 24,000 rifles lost from the regiment while Rowley was head of the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of National Security. Up to today, we have nothing about that. $100 million, sir, gone to given the high officers in the regiment. So they already banded. I don't know what you're giving them that for. It was to give the bandit it, but to hold the bandit up to today. A bandit their whole and the taxpayers' money. You know? So look at how country goes. Now I want to compliment the man from Santa Cruz who uses his licensed firearm to defend himself. Now, no matter what it is, let me tell you so, when they come to take your car, they don't take your car, eh? They just beat you, put you in the trunk, put you in the car, carry you, yeah? And they throw you down a hill to go down a hill. Before they do demand that, the man had to defend himself. So I compliment you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kola. Understand you going, I mean, we've exhausted, you know, a lot of things about us, and there are some new things. I mean, the Ministry of the Attorney General did put out some parameters under which you can actually shoot somebody.
That's
right?
correct.
So you can't be under the influence of alcohol.
Correct.
You can't be, it can't be that the person was not really a threat.
Correct.
And you take their life. Right?
Correct.
So all those things, persons who are seeking to get firearms for the sole purpose of defending themselves in their home, you have to avail yourself of the legislation, know exactly, because they will end up making a jail anyway.
Of course.
Right? I remember in law, you had, when murder and that kind of thing, that's decided on, you have accessory and mens rea. So you have the action and the mental, the intent. Right? That to a large extent might be curtailed with this piece of legislation.
Correct, and that's what we were saying.
Right, but you can't just shoot somebody.
Of course,
right?
of course.
You can't invite somebody in your house and kill them.
And then kill them.
You know? All them things, those things are things that they're hard to figure out.
Correct.
So, and then the next thing is for the persons who complaining about the legislation, they're still working on it, right? But the people who complain about it, you don't have to get a gun if you don't want one.
Exactly. And you know, it's interesting that people will complain, well, more guns on the street. It's not on the street. This will affect you if you go into somebody's space and you shouldn't be there.
Because the statistics will also show that most of the crimes, or if not all the crimes that are being committed with firearm-related crimes, are committed with illegal firearms.
That's correct.
Right?
That's correct.
So the proliferation, that what they call proliferation of firearms by giving people legal firearms, those are not the firearms that are killing people.
And they're not giving it out, you know. That's the next thing. They're not
Gotta
giving it out.
Let's take this call. Good evening, caller.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Samaya and also listeners. I was just about to make the same point where you was about to make, Samaya, which is, it's not everybody who apply, not because they have a home means that they're going to get through.
That's correct.
And the thing is, it is in clear sight for all to see what persons have to face by unwanted guests coming into your residence.
Thank you.
Right?
That's it.
If persons don't want to end up falling victim, then don't go in people's place unwarranted.
That's right.
The gun will just stay inside and collect cobweb.
Exactly.
But as you rightfully said, not everybody is going to get through, and who against it just don't apply.
Exactly.
That's all. Want to remain a sitting duck for these people who have no intention of doing better with their life, more than to try to oppress people even further, right? Then that is some of the portions that they will meet is their demise because of the choices that they choose to make.
That's correct.
And that is just the reality that we have to face in Trinidad and Tobago. It's simple as
and that is it, you know. It's just sad that you have, I mean, the kind of opposition to it, to me, is unwarranted.
Exactly.
Right? Because it's
of
probably...
course, I mean, it have better questions. They could be asking, like, what will be the procedure to give yourself some comfort as to hoping that they will put the right process in place for persons who have to get through. But all these complaints without any proper bearing, considering all the factors that need to address, really not making sense.
Correct.
You know, and I heard an interesting perspective, and I really disagreed. But this particular person on the social media was saying that it seems that these laws are targeted towards a particular race.
Nonsense.
I find when you say things like that...
And if that particular race is the race that causing all the problem, I just say.
Just saying. Right? Now let's be real. Those are the same people that will say, well, you should have shot him in his foot. For what? You come into somebody's place.
If we want to change the dynamics, then let us call on all the people who we continue to see on all the video footage committing these acts. Let us call on them to change their ways.
That's right. That's the responsible thing.
Then the dynamics will change and it will be less of them, so people can make those foolish statements.
Thank you. Fantastic point.
If the people, the category of persons that they're talking about will be at a disadvantage, continue to act in the way that they're acting, then again, that is the reality that we have to face.
That's right.
If other group or category of people start to do it more than the group that doing it right now, then they too will be in the whole bracket. But
that's right.
It's foolish to think that this is to target one race of people. I would be more satisfied if they say one category, and the category is people who come in people place unwarranted.
Yes,
that's all.
I agree with you.
That's all.
And you know, I always say that you know, when I was a young fella now learning to drive, a seat belt is not something I did like at all. You know, nobody liked a seat belt. As a matter of fact, all cars didn't use to come in seat belt.
Right.
Right, and then people start saying, "But this Yankee thing, you want to pump? We have one seat belt. We have no need for seat belt." But people is dying as a result of accidents.
Yeah.
And then they make laws for seatbelt.
Yeah.
And when, you know, it was a condition. So people start wearing seatbelt eventually. Now, when you get in your car, it's almost automatic. You put on your seatbelt before you go anyway. So it condition. You get to realize it's not only important, but you'll get in trouble if you have it on.
That's correct.
Right? So the same way, 2 or 3 people try to break in somebody's house and they get sent home. Somebody send them home. People will realize, hey, you see this house breaking thing? We gotta stop this, you know. Because we don't know that house we going looking to go there, we might get sent home. Right?
That's right.
So you stop that, and that was done eventually. Let's take this caller. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Empires. Good evening, Mr. Matson. Good evening, Mr. Moya.
Good evening.
Yeah, so correct, Mr. Matson and Mr. Moya. Look what happened. Accident took place. You don't know who lost their life. A man going to help, and he get robbed.
That is ridiculous enough.
That's what I'm saying. If that will stir up this country, what will stir up this country? So doing the right thing is wrong now?
Correct. I mean, it's just sad. I mean, we try to fight everything, which is why we ain't going nowhere fast.
Yeah.
We try to fight everything. Oh God, let things live, no man. Let things happen.
That is really, really embarrassing.
We living in a different time. Just now, everybody you have a firearm and nobody would not need to use it. So we both start giving back the fire. Yeah?
Yeah, because all it will take is about 3 or 4 or 5 incidents, you know, with somebody trying to break in somebody's house and they get it, and then everybody will think differently, and they will say, hey, I ain't taking that chance.
But caller, is how casual they are walking into people's homes. I saw a video on social media yesterday, and they literally dress almost like homeless people and just walk into the other people's home with a firearm. People start to run. That's scary.
It's sad.
That is something out of a movie.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me take this next caller. Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon, guys.
Yeah,
good afternoon.
Yeah.
I might have a different spin or see differently. For the longest while, I've been blaming parenting culture.
Yeah.
The radio shows we watch, the radio stations we listen, the places we go, and the friends we keep. I believe that, like for example, how we have a SO now, we should have children under 12 years, 15 years, or however, a curfew for them. They should be indoors. I feel it's a parental problem and hold our parents more responsible for our children if we are living within our 50 by 100. Once we are within that 50 by 100, we should be in control over them. If they're on their own, that's a different thing. But for too long, I believe it's not robots or people dropping from the sky and committing these crimes. At the end of the day, see who is in the majority. At the end of the day, why is it if you look at it, when we are ready to go and sleep, we go to our home. We go to a place of rest, where that is. So I am saying all of this to say, friend, I believe we parents have a greater role to play in our children's lives, and for too long this going on so, and all I am seeing is that the black policeman running down and shooting the black boy, the black man. And I'm not saying it's only, but we are in the majority, and we need to look at avoid it from happening than rather say use the gun and we will fix the problem. But trying to listen, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with the caller.
I think that if we want to use arguments of blackness, then the best thing you can do for your African people is teach them to do the right thing.
Thank you.
And that's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
If your son is a certain age and they are in your house and not working, what do you think he's going to do to get the money? I'm just saying. My mom always used to say, when you all reach a certain age, you need to get a job. How about that?
But even I mean, we know what the conditions are.
Regardless.
I mean,
I'm talking about responsible parenting.
Try to do something. You see young people with exposure to social media, and all they're doing is you watch them young girls and then they're putting up go on YouTube, go and learn something,
That's
learn
right.
to do something. YouTube is a university, you know.
Yes.
You don't know that? People don't know that, you know. YouTube is a
TikTok,
you learn
social
everything.
media.
If you want to learn bad things, you can learn it on YouTube. If you want to put bad things on YouTube, you're teaching people bad things. But you have all kind of things you can learn on YouTube. You can learn how to be a plumber, a best plumber on YouTube. Just go and learn how to plumb something. Any woman, anybody. You want to learn to plumb, fix your bathroom pipe or whatever, go on YouTube. Google it.
Correct.
You'll find it on YouTube how to fix it. Anything you want to do. I plumb a whole pool, by the way, from YouTube.
I did some things around my house with YouTube as well. But I'm saying there are things we could do. We don't want to use your Africanness, your race conveniently to justify wrongdoing. And that's basically
and this is why I have no problem supporting the Baton side, supporting this governance.
That's correct.
You know why? Because what I realized before is that the other side was using race to justify why we should vote for you.
That's correct.
They don't look like they don't like you. They racist.
They pull out that card every 5 years.
Madness. And then when you vote for them, all them about class. All of a sudden, them are studying race again. Them studying class. No. The rich people, that who them see more.
Interesting, isn't it?
They're very interesting. So listen, if you those who have eyes to see, let them see.
They will see.
If you can't see it, I'm sorry.
Then
you're going astray.
You're gone. At this point, you're gone.
You're gone if you can't see it. So the thing is, we have to be, as I always say every day, we have to be our brother's keeper.
No.
That's why we're here.
The brother's keeper. I want to say something. We're going back to that accident and the robbery that happened. Do we remember the incident where a child ran away from home? I think it was a 2-year-old and ended up in a river somewhere. the person that alleged to have seen the public gave that lady hell and high water.
Well, that person should have been held responsible also.
But regardless, you know, there's that issue now. So I'm saying that to say, people are going to now say, you know what, let me mind my business. And when it reaches to that, because you're being punished essentially for being your brother's keeper.
I prefer not to mind my business and save a child than to say I was and get in trouble.
No, and I'm not saying no.
Than to for somebody to say maybe I should not go and help the child.
But no, and that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm looking at the circumstance here. She could, if she didn't say anything at all. There are some people who will say, you know what, I ain't saying anything. And this is where it is reaching to.
Yeah, and that is
people are looking at consequence.
That is sad. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine in New York, and I know she listening. And, you know, I was telling her, listen, I was just demonstrating to her why it is, you know, if you walk about in New York in the subways, anyway, you'll see, if you see something, say something. There's a reason why they will tell you that, right?
Yeah.
Because that's to promote a sense of nationalism. If you see something, because if you see something, you see a terrorist, you see something that's looking suspicious, you didn't see something, then you could be in danger in your own life.
That's right.
Right? And she was saying, nah, don't be, don't be people come back to kill you and all kind. Nobody know you say something. But at the end of the day, your job is to make your country better.
Yeah.
Right? And whatever you could do to make your country better, which is why it's so sad. What these people do on the beatum last night was just atrocious. That shouldn't happen. Right? A man got in an accident. People died. People stopped to help.
How bad
and you rob them?
That really, really
That's
sad.
crazy. That shouldn't happen.
So it makes it hard for people to really believe the love. The love is there.
Yeah.
You know, so you know what? People going to be driving past Beatum, and I see it when I'm going up. People are speeding going past because they don't want to slow down there a certain side.
Yeah, flat tire now. Or a few 4 tires flat tires.
Right? So, you know, these are the issues.
The condition for it to get flat.
Correct, but those are the issues that are happening.
Yeah, but it's just sad. It's just sad. It shows us how unpatriotic, even in our acts, how unpatriotic we are, right, to the people. So sometimes I mean, it's just sad, but how people just think people's idea of life and living and support for party and all that kind of thing is so skewed, right, that they vex if you given support to somebody who they don't like.
Even though the measure is going to help them and benefit them in the future.
Even though the measure is going to help them too.
That is where you can't put party or other issues over country.
Yes.
Country has to come first.
And that's why I say on this show, the Third Empire, I say that you know, when the UNC, and I'm talking, when the UNC was in office between 2010 to 2015, I was one of the persons who had a real problem with them. You know? Yeah, I had a real problem with them. And then I started having a problem with the PNM too. Because I find them was doing the same thing. They say the UNC was doing. But now, the same party was doing things that I had a problem with. I don't have a problem supporting them, you know why? I looking at the trajectory at which they are.
But you said they learn from their mistakes and be hoping that it continues.
They're looking to do things to fix Trinidad and Tobago.
That should be priority.
You should want to support that as a citizen. You dig? You should want to support that as a citizen. So I'm just saying that we had to be Trinidadian. We had to be Trinidad and Tobago first before, you know, put country before party. Put country before race.
Correct.
Right? In fact, we only have black people in Trinidad and Tobago. African and Indian.
You're not white, so you are.
If you go to America and say, go London, for instance, and say white, or Italy, or France, and say white, no? You're Indian or you're black. If you're not white, you're black. Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pay some bills, and we will come back. We will take your calls. We want to hear what your views are on what we have been talking about.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we.
Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Attention business owners. Are you looking to reach a vast audience and boost your brand's visibility? Then look no further. The Street 919 FM is here to help you shine. With over 170,000 followers on our social media platforms, our radio station is the perfect platform to showcase your products and services. Join us and let your message be heard by thousands of eager listeners. Contact us now to learn more about our affordable advertising packages. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to connect with your target audience. Advertise with the Street 919 FM today. For more information, call 399-5959 or 384-2232.
Are you tired of scratching the surface? Do you want to understand the real forces shaping Trinidad and Tobago? From the delicate dance of our energy sector on the global stage, to the geopolitical shadows behind the crime affecting our streets, we dig deeper. The third umpire goes beyond the headlines. We connect the dots between local challenges and the international currents that truly impact your life, your wallet, your security. Join Stephen Matheson, Selvin Mitchell, and Ronaldo Rollux, 3 employment law and human resource management consulting professionals, as they unpack the complexities, analyze the power plays, and reveal the often hidden realities. Understand the game. Understand your role in it. The third umpire, critically analyzing Trinidad and Tobago's economic and political realities on how they affect your daily lives. Tune in Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. on the Street 919 FM. Don't just listen to the news. Understand it.
The island is buzzing with news of big savings at Sharon's Bookstore, as our back-to-school sale is now happening at all 3 of our locations. We have great deals on everything you need, from school books, sneakers, backpacks, uniforms, stationery, and accessories to so much more. Whether your little one is starting kindergarten, heading to primary, secondary, or private school, or even taking theory, we've got you covered here at Sharon's. So why wait? Come on down and let us help you get ready for school. Our friendly team is waiting for you now at our locations on the Eastern Main Road in San Juan, the Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna, and on levels 1 and 2 of Trincity Mall in Trincity. Sharon's Bookstore is proud to be your local one. Stop shop for all things back to school, helping you with style, savings, and everything school-related all under one roof. Light up your weekends at Vibes Nightclub, Tobago's hottest spot. 3 epic nights of music and energy await every Thursday. Karaoke Thursdays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Grab the mic, unleash your inner star, and sing all night. Beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and giveaways for the best singers. Every Friday, Limers Fridays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Vibes with your crew and enjoy beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and 2 White Oak for $25. Every Saturday, Raw Saturdays. Everything goes, nothing but good vibes. Free entry and an all-star DJ cast to bring the vibes. Vibes Nightclub is where Tobago shines. Join us Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for music, fun, and unforgettable nights. Don't miss out. Your weekend starts at Vibes.
I love you.
The Trinidad and Tobago Council of Evangelical Churches, together with national cultural icon Mr. William Monroe, presents the first ever national concert of choirs, Divine Harmonies, Saturday, December 6, 2025, at the Grandstand, Queen's Park Savannah. Choirs will be competing for prize money to the tune of $250,000, with the winner walking away with the grand prize of $100,000. We invite all church choirs nationwide to participate in this spiritual, cultural, and musical richness that will bring upliftment to our nation and redound to the glory of God. Tickets will be available August 15th from Maranatha Bookstore and outlets of the Trinidad and Tobago Council of Evangelical Churches. For more information, call 719-9599 or 497-0361. Divine Harmonies, ushering in the glory of God. This is Apostle Anthony Golson, and I'm inviting you to be there.
this Java, get ready to chase the crunch with KFC. Dip it, dunk it, and drip it with our juiciest chicken tenders ever for as low as $29.95.
It's Java, it's summertime. KFC makes it all come alive. Big lines turn into big appetites. Hit the beach with KFC. Yeah.
Choose our hot and spicy or extra crispy non-spicy tenders and dip, dunk, and drip into our flavorful sauces, Java style.
To the spice of the summer, let's go.
So, chase the crunch and make Java finger-licking good with KFC. The Gap Man Limited specializes in products that cater to all your health needs. The Male Enhancement Package targets the areas of the body that contribute to erectile dysfunction. The Male Enhancement costs $1,400. The Gap pills are priced at 250 pills for $500 and 500 pills for just $900. For the best in eye care, get the super combination of a Super Bright and the Body Healer. To improve the heart's function and circulation, get the Gap pills and Formula C. To get a total body cleanse daily, use the Gap Body Healer and Big C, all for a super low price of $1,300. To order your products from the Gap Man Limited, call 628-4531 for products that cater to all your health needs.
For more info, contact 476-7268.
Planning your Tobago getaway? Choose the highest Google-rated car rental company on the island, O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago. Located just minutes from the A&R Robinson International Airport, at O'Neill, we pride ourselves on being the most tech-savvy car rental company in Tobago. Our process is 100% digital. No paperwork, no long lines. From easy pickup to seamless returns, renting a car in Tobago has never been simpler. WhatsApp us now at 1-868-361-1042 to book your vehicle. Don't forget to mention promo code RADIO2 to receive a 5% discount on your rental. Send a WhatsApp message to 1-868-361-1042 today. That's 1-868-361-1042. O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago, the easiest, most reliable car rental experience on the island.
Vehicle availability is subject to change. Driver must be at least 25 years old and have a valid driver's license to book. For more information, visit www.rentalcartobago.com.
So line up, link up, creep up, rock and come in. It's all about the fastest growing reggae show in the land without a doubt. Reggae Rock Sundays on the Shit 919 FM with yours truly, MC Duke and Selector Kochi on the ones and twos. So make it a date and don't be late. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. right here on the Shit 919 FM. Got 'em our way, King Selassie.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes, callers. So we are back. This is our final hour, and as usual, in this hour we usually talk about some more serious things, and we were talking about the issue of contract law and the situation with regards to employers and faulty contracts, not just faulty contracts, but the faulty administration of those contracts, and you know, the proliferation of disputes before the courts and that kind of thing as a result, and that came out of the Dr. Hilaire lawsuit against the government of Trinidad and Tobago as it relates to his termination. But before even we continue on that also, I wanted to, I was reading another article in the newspapers which caught our eyes, and that is the St. James residents and the fact that they were saying that 3 weeks, could you imagine 3 weeks? That's happened in some areas for Christmas, but 3 weeks garbage truck can pass. And I have to say that is one of the service that is an important service. That is one of the essential services, in my opinion. That because the landfill, you can't just take your garbage and carry it by landfill. So garbage truck have to come. Now, maybe again, if we develop a system, I remember I was in Miami some time ago, and I mean, on different days, you have different garbage companies who will pass, and you pay to carry to get your garbage, to take your garbage out. You pay some kind of levy or some taxes for that. We don't do that in Trinidad and Tobago. But what I guess in the article, the corporation did say, the engineer did say that some of the garbage trucks have been down. I know in some areas when they have these kind of situation where garbage isn't taken out for some time, it have to do with sometimes the corporation not paying the garbage truck, the garbage contractor, and they didn't get money for some time, so therefore they just can't pay the workers, and they decide to protest. They decide not to come out and take out the garbage, and therefore it ends in situations like these. But all of this speaks to a general breakdown in society, a general breakdown in governance. And that is something that has to be addressed. Let's take this caller. Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon again, Mr. Matheson and Samoya.
Good afternoon.
Just before the break, you were speaking about some of your disappointment with the present government from 2010 to 2015. I, too, have a lot that I could speak about that I was disappointed with how they were governing, right? The challenge for me is, when we vote them out, that is one price that they have to pay. But we have institutions in place for all the allegations of corruption, criminal activity, all of that. And even if the institutions fall short, the previous government had 9 years to come up with whatever measures they thought were feasible and try to protect Trinidad and Tobago.
But they went and do the same thing.
From it ever occurring again. And you see, I think that it's only Karen Clark, Dr. Olino to call investigators for.
They went and do the same thing and tried to make it legal.
You see, that is my thing as a citizen. I really challenge with understanding how you could be calling me and asking me to support that, right? In the face of everything that happened. So you telling me, after making all these allegations about the People's Partnership, you sat in office for 9 years, you didn't introduce no demerit points for politicians, right? You didn't introduce no harsher penalties to ensure that if things happen similar to the allegations that you all make, that person will have a hard time to try to get away. You ain't do none of that, right? And you're just dependent on coming back and talk a sort of rubbish in people's head to win the election in 2025. This is why, like yourself too, Mr. Matheson, I have no problem in giving the government my support, because we are not the police which shall lock them up for whatever allegations have been made. We did our part and voted them out in 2015, right? And now that they are here again, we have seen in the first set of days, the narrative coming is not a narrative of hold on till 2027, not a narrative of if we don't get through with this deal, we cook. Not a narrative of, well, the rich, it's not a problem with the rich getting richer, right? We had to provide opportunities for them so that they would provide opportunities for the poor. That is not the narrative, you know. You know what was the narrative coming out? Ceiling level on these tax breaks. No look for no state housing. You understand? Cutting back from on top. Exactly. It had nobody telling you about macaroni pie, while there is no limit to what they can enjoy courtesy taxpayers. Have they looked at the menu that they enjoy when taxpayers are footing the bill and say, here what? We just talk about cutting back on macaroni pie, let me cut back on some of these steak and caviar and fine wine and champagne and nothing like that.
Instead they try to pursue even more higher taxes. You drive down the road, every time you drive from corner to corner, it's tax on your tail.
And not just that, you see, if I telling somebody, if I telling the nation what Dr. Oli was telling the nation, there is no way all over that find all the alcohol with Barry Padder had post up and showing it have all this alcohol here in the Prime Minister's residence and thing. There is no way you would find that, because I would have been partaking in the cutbacks. Not I leading, and I not leading by example at all, I telling all kind of reasons why we're not budgeting from 4%, but I see me getting a 47% increase while I enjoying perks, a handsome salary, not nowhere close to the breadline. I find it good work for me to receive that increase and making all kind of excuses about it. We really have to get real, and I say it is not the citizens' fault that the previous government didn't put anything in place to deal with the allegations that they made, and it is not our fault that they didn't put structures or anything in place to ensure the protection of our country. So now we are here once again, left with hope, just hope alone, because we know what the both parties give. And as I say, at this time, we will support the government once they heading and facing in the right direction. Not like some others.
And we've seen the trajectory so far. It looked like they're going to score some runs.
Yeah, they will score some runs, most definitely. I'm seeing some mistakes that really shouldn't be made at this stage in 2025, but of course they will score some runs. And you see, my take from all of this, right, is that the politicians have us in Trinidad exactly where they want us. The day we decide to put some of our support behind our other party, then we will see the shaping up of these MPs who come and beg us for our vote every 5 years. Because they have a responsibility to represent the constituency, right, or the constituency that they ask to represent. Go look for the ministerial posts. Represent the people, visit all the ministries that can assist people in your constituency, and try to treat with all the things there. Visit the police, let them get involved, and try to take charge of the communities. Don't just be comfortable with calling a place a hotspot and using the crime conveniently when you're in opposition or when you're in power. I'll leave it in there. I don't want to take all the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good
make
point.
A lot of sense.
Very
right?
good point.
Let me be fair, let me be objective.
That's right.
And understand that, hey, at the end of the day, what we want is Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening, caller.
The empires again, Mr. Matterson and Mr. Samoya, I just want to say, you see that incident what took place with the people, the guy was robbed, and they say his way is the beat him, right?
Yeah.
You see that stigma that happened there, and in the past, these white employers, if you go to for a job and you put beat them, they would not employ you. And it's a call for all the parents and and the Beatum have good people too. You know?
Well, you see, I was not going to say, you can't even, I wouldn't, as an employer, I wouldn't marginalize or discriminate against somebody because they're living on the Beatum. Because that's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a good person. I looking to send through a person based on the interview and that kind of thing. Other merits. Not where you're living. So that discrimination will come that. But what Simoya was making a point before. I mean, caller, the thing is, what happened on the Beatum there will tell you that, hey, listen, if 4 of your tires shut down by your light, you burst by your lighthouse, you go drive until you reach Maritime.
You're
drive until you reach Maritime because
the rims though, you don't mind. As a matter of fact, we heard about that in what you call that, self-defense classes. If something like that happened, ride on your rims.
Ride on
you
your
could
rims
always replace it.
Maritime and move
Ride on your rims.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, the caller, Stephen, in my view now, in corporate environments, we do not promote discrimination.
But by the way, the caller right there.
But he is right, and that's what I was about to say. There are small businesses that will take that approach, and so it is fair to warn your children that sometimes these behaviors is what causes challenges. I always tell people, young people on social media, what is the reason why you're posing with a gun? Are you an officer?
So, but the caller,
when you're doing those things, you are putting yourself in a category.
Mr. Miami, you're correct.
Yeah.
It is right. It's happening. It's happening.
And before I leave, I just want to say this. You see, parents from these areas that they call it hotspot, where I do agree, because they are bright people and there are people who providing service to the country. Not everyone is bad. you have to form a community and you have to weed them out. I know you'll be fearful for your life, but sometimes you have to say enough is enough. You see, that what happened yesterday, that whole and that Peter should have been out today saying, we don't tolerate that.
Yes.
That is the next
and look
thing.
for a change.
That's the next
correct.
thing.
All right,
Thank
guys,
you.
look on listening.
Thank you.
Look on.
Right? You see
That
what he
is the
said?
next thing.
That is so true.
There's a
the whole of the
silence.
Beatum should come out now and say, listen, we don't condone that. That, because you see, you're endangering that community and
That's
all,
correct.
by doing something like that. Things are so bad, man. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon to you again, Mr. Madison and Mr. Moya.
Yeah.
I think I got your name this afternoon.
Good, you got it.
You see, the question of governance in this country, I don't think it's as difficult as some people want to make it out to be, you know. It is because over the years, in fact, in terms of governance, you had people who were a bit autocratic, leaning towards autocracy. And I'm saying once you communicate with the people, once you communicate with the people, once you are responsive and sensitive to the needs of the people, once you allow the people to participate, you have a participatory approach to governance. Once you abide by the rule of law and the norms and conventions and standards in this country, you have no problem, you know. But when you want to go on your own mission, your own course, and ignore and be insensitive to the calls of the people, to the needs of the people, you end up in problems. Once you stop listening to the people, once you become not open and transparent, you open up the way for the people to act up against you, for your replacement. So I'm saying it's not as difficult as some people want to make it out to be once they abide by some of the tenets of good government. You have financial accountability. You need to demonstrate that. You have to ensure that there's a high standard with respect to efficiency. If you run things properly, you have no problem. So I'm here. You spoke earlier on about we didn't know that the Riders' Cup was there in somewhere 2006 or 2007, telling them that they had only 13 years of oil and gas. They ignored that. They paid no attention to that. In fact, some of them said that was nonsense. We had oil to burn. They manufacture their own, or came up with their own, what I want to say is, their own ideas as to what the amount of oil and gas that we had in this country, remaining in this country. So I'm saying it all has to do with the attitude of the leaders. Again, it comes back to that. And the idea is we have oil, and that was the mantra. We have oil to burn. We can't run out of oil. That was put in the heads of the people. And that is why one of the reasons why we throw caution to the wind. And that is where we are today.
Yeah.
Right?
They was trying to take us right down to the wire, hoping that we wouldn't, it wouldn't done.
But people believe it can done. You hear them say, oh, it can't done. But now they realize that it could done. And I'm saying this again, and because I just spoke about this, I don't want to take much of your time because other people on the line.
Yeah.
The fact remains when we talk about this country, in terms of, we're talking about social stability and all these different things in this country, yes. We're talking about gangs and crime and all that kind of thing. I am saying that we are at the crossroad, and I heard you some time ago spoke about Thomas Hobbes.
Yes, life will be brutish.
With respect to the Leviathan.
Yes.
And I remember some years ago, I remember this guy Laguerre somewhere up in St. Augustine teaching about that. And what I remember, I could be wrong, he spoke about the need for government. And what he was saying is that the absence of government, what you would have is a state of nature.
Exactly.
And he said that the people
Anarchy.
came together and they give up the rights to the government, to the state. Because, right? And therefore the state would have offered protection. The state was responsible for the maintenance of peace and law and order. And when you had no government, what happened? You had, as you rightly said, anarchy.
Yes.
And he said also that life, as you said, would be nasty, short,
and brutish.
He said life would be low, solitary.
Yes.
Right? It would not be good, and people would fear the danger of death, and we see it here. Because you have people here who are very much afraid of what is taking place with respect to those criminals in this country when they lie down in the night in the house. So I'm saying that Haiti is one of those countries where you had government, and over time the gangs, they took control. They started a fight among themselves, and some of them joined up and started a fight against the state. And they pulled down the state, and Haiti today is in ruin. So I'm saying that the government has a task at their hand, and the protective services, in bringing this crime wave and this gang culture under control. Otherwise, you cuckoos, you have look at Haiti. Look at what's happened with barbecue and all these people, and they mash up Haiti. Airport, everything gone through. So I'm saying that we are at the crossroad, and when these philosophers, because he was a political philosopher, and when these people, most people never really take the time to analyze what they were saying, and what is the relevance in terms of social life and stability in the country today. So I'm saying that we need to watch this carefully, and everybody would have that duty in order to ensure that stability return to this country, law and order and peace. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. And the caller is so correct. Without order and without the preservation of order, life will be brutish.
Correct.
So, and it's not just laws, it's consciousness. People like you and I, and people, the normal man must think, about your fellow man. Think about, where we going.
Yeah.
Think about how you can help your fellow man also. Because without that, you are chaos.
Correct.
And problems. So you're talking about the situation with the garbage collection in
St. James.
In St. James, and clearly, well, the reason they would have given was that of the garbage trucks down, and I can remember, why would the garbage truck be down? Is it that you don't have money to fix it, or is it that you don't have engineers to fix them? Is it that you have old, worn out resources? What is it?
But then that speaks to the lack of a contingency plan, because it's a service that you use every single day. So what happens? It could
also speak to the lack of government funding also, because these corporations depend on money.
We know they wait a while to get paid.
Local government and that kind of thing. And in other cases where it happens, it could also be the lack of, you're not paying contractors, and contractors working for like months and sometimes years without pay. And they have workers to pay too. They have to pay these sanitation engineers and that kind of thing to operate. So I think we're not necessarily in a good place. And I guess when the budget when the budget is read, and after that, if we have the allocations to fix all in the things that are critical to trying to go first, because there are a lot of things that has to happen. And unfortunately, the people who complaining the most about it, they are the one responsible for it.
Correct.
Right, to a large extent. And some of us responsible for it too. Because we allow them to do what they did to us. And some of us still jump up and went and say we're going and vote for them.
And that's the thing too,
Right?
That's the thing. Everybody's seeking some measure of change, but this is not good at all, because this is pointing directly to a health issue.
I was a boy. I was big enough in 1986 when after a long bout of the Red Party, and Eric Williams died in 1981, and people felt that just before he died there was a big protest. The nurses had protests and that kind of thing, and people felt that the society had reached a place where, the country seemed to have so much money, and nothing had happened, and we was going into a recession, and we was facing the IMF and all that kind of thing. And George Chambers said that George Chambers really tried, and coming out of that, the people got very wary, and they say, listen, we fed up all here. That was then, and some people thought that was it. And the UNC, not the UNC, the Steel Beam Party, which was the NAR, they came into office.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And they wanted to do, in my opinion, they were doing what they thought they had to do to change the culture, to change the thinking of people. They started off with a cleanup campaign. I don't know if you remember. Well,
no, I wasn't born.
A baby. You wasn't born
I
yet.
was not born
Don't
yet.
tell me that, no man. Serious?
I was born as yet.
You wasn't born as yet?
No.
Wow. But anyway.
But nice stories, though.
Yeah. I'm sure I read about these things. So they had a cleanup campaign. I was a little boy, but the thing is, I remember that there was a whole feeling of patriotism. Government change was a new beginning, a new feeling, but the government didn't last long.
Yeah, because that's what I'm wondering. How do you go from there to the coup, the attempted coup?
Yeah, it didn't last long. They had some real infighting, and then they had a breakaway in the party, Club 88, and then eventually the party divided to some extent, and then you had a coup after that, right? Because it was felt that A.N.R. Robinson, to a large extent, wasn't, in the opinion of some, wasn't really following dictates of what should be happening. They felt that he wasn't listening to everybody, and even the Jamaat felt that he was high-handed.
Yeah.
And so it sung so to many, and the coup came. The coup was as a result of that, our people. And we tried to build back the country since then, but when we were talking about 2 weeks ago, when we were talking about emancipation, and we were celebrating the July 27th.
Yeah. The anniversary of the attempted
we were talking about how that happened, and did we learn anything from it? I don't think we learned much from it.
No, of course not.
We didn't really learn much. We learned more from the 1970s, and more changes took place in Trinidad and Tobago as a result of the 1970s than the 1990s. Right? Because after the 1970s, you had a lot of changes. You had most of the banks in particular, they were not national banks, they were foreign banks.
So that would explain the hiring practices at the time.
Yes, and most of the people working in the banks were the elites and people that don't look like us and that kind of thing. And as a result of that, but although even that started off as I would have said before, that movement would have started off from way back in Africa, Densika, Black Africa, ended up in Sir George Williams University, and they burning down the computer lab there. And then, of course, it morphed to Trinidad and Tobago and other places. Good evening, caller. Good evening, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes.
And good evening to our appreciated umpire and the lady, or the female umpire.
Yes.
Operating from the operator at the other square leg.
Yes.
Square leg umpire.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I must have West. I think you were speaking about the Hobbesian principle.
Yeah.
Life is short.
Hobbes and
brutish.
Yeah, life will be short and brutish.
And that is a fact. But coming back to the garbage situation in the Port of Spain Corporation, I do not know if the corporation under budgeted, because sanitation is a big ticket item in a corporation, and you must put forward a substantial budget to cover sanitation. Right? I cannot see no how that in a corporation there's no money for sanitation activities. Yeah, that is very.
Yeah, I don't know what would have happened there, how that would have happened. In reading the article, I saw that they talk about trucks were down and they were supposed to be coming out on certain days.
Yeah.
And the resident kind of jumped the gun. But if the residents are saying that garbage truck have been in the area for 3 weeks now, that's a serious thing. That's a
serious health hazard. Yes.
Of course. Well, the corporation have their waste disposal vehicles, right? the Police Corporation.
Yeah, they operate somewhere around my movie town, somewhere in the back there, across the road there.
Yeah. But they have, but they vote. They call contracted services, and even self your established vehicles are done. Right? You could rent and pay a sanitation company. You could involve a sanitation company.
But no sanitation company want to take your government business these days. I mean, yeah, they don't have no money to pay you. I have workers too, you know. So I take your business and you take 6 months to pay me. What going on with my workers?
Yeah, but remember, if in draft estimates of the corporation they submitted that, they should get allocation set aside from the budget to do that in case their vehicles are went down, because vehicles are mechanical devices, and they will shut down. So always have a plan B.
Yeah, correct.
Right. So it's amazing that could happen as far as sanitation is concerned.
As far as sanitation, because that's a critical.
They say cleanliness. Yeah, they say cleanliness is the closest to godliness.
But you saw what the people in those residents do. They take all the garbage and then line it up on the streets. Across the road,
That's crazy.
Well, people frustrated, you know.
Yeah.
But one of the topics I want you to raise is that this thing where people got bank loans and they got a waiver during COVID time. Some people got 4 years, some got 5, but only a waiver. But you have to come back in the back end and repay that money, you know.
Yeah, and with interest. With interest too. With interest too.
With interest too. What I'm saying, if the reports are correct that the state got a lot of money from outside financial institutions and agencies, right? Why I am pleading with this administration, saying the Prime Minister is what I call a moral philosopher, and all a moral philosopher is a person who likes to help other people, right? And when you could look at that and even so that prorate your people loan and give them some kind of relief.
But we did during that time. We did get a lot of grants from international organizations. Why those grants wasn't put into the bank and to offset those kind of situations? Then I thought that is what would have happened then.
Of course, people got nothing, right? People got no relief. Well, I have to say most people, because some people talk to me about it.
But no people, even the grants they said was given people at those times, a lot of people got it once. So you was away from work for almost a year. That a grant where you could access every month. You got it. Some people got it once, and then they say most of the thing was fraudulent and all kind of thing. Plus, you was getting grants to access.
And what make it worse now? Some of the people who are government, not old age pensioners, but government pensioners, they have to pay back those loans and their pension, their monthly pension, right? Because of the amount of years there were no collective agreements from 2014 coming down the road. Pensioners have to pay loans from their pension, monthly pensions. That is government, not old age pensioners. That's how people work for the state. Whether retired police, retired fire, retired public servant. These are the kind of retirees I talk about, pensioners I'm speaking about. So they could look at that. Right? At least we could win something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Let's take this next caller. Let's take our next call. Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon again, partners.
Good evening.
Good evening.
She's winding up turns, so them just give it.
Nah, you have time, man. You have time. Focus.
Makes sense, man. You see, this thing, boy, honestly is such a lonely word, boy. And then when we push the creator out, we don't want him in the mouth. We take him out of the school curriculum. And then, you see what we do in secret, them turning them now doing it openly. We failing to understand that what is being done is my brother and your sister. My brother is the police officer, or the minister, or the fire officer, or the nurse, or the doctor, and we can go on and on. I could imagine what kind of blessed country we'd have if we try to encourage, empower, instill values in our job, do what is right, try and give a fair day's work for a fair day's pay.
Correct. Yep.
If we would only come out and do our job, I'm talking the tailor, the barber, the shoemaker, the minister, the taxi driver, whether you know your car wants fixing, stop blaming the license officer and the police. Bring your car in a road position and stop blaming people. You know, I must go back to the demerit point, which we take away. I find it should have carried about 300 or whether it's 400 and then start to deal with us in a different way, you know. But taking away this demerit point is we need stringent laws, management.
But what was disconcerting about the demerit points? Remember, it was like a kind of double jeopardy, you know. You was getting fined. And the fines wasn't small fines as compared. There was nothing to compare to anywhere else per capita. I mean per dollar. I mean, if you look at what happened with the DMV, even those in the US, which is a fraction of what, when you take our income, which is a fraction of what we were charged. That is what was dangerous to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So I was being fined that, and also you had demerit points, which was to me was unfair.
Right. Well, I ain't too old to learn. Life is learning. But I want to go back to we parent. I find parental course should be on each one of us ID card. When you reach 18, you have to go and get ID card. Parental course, and do everybody let us do a parental course, because this thing is not robot or Batman and Robin what coming down and committing these crimes. I just don't understand better.
Correct.
I didn't need to tell you.
You know, sometimes, you know, necessity is the mother of all invention, and sometimes that what he's saying there, what he called, I just said.
Yeah.
No, that have merit in it, you know. Yeah. Because if you are seeing what is happening with parenting and what is happening with the kind of crime, the who committing these crimes and things, you're wondering where the parents to these people were. That's
correct.
What was the parents saying?
And it's upsetting to hear
so
parents say, shoot him in the foot. I always get annoyed with that.
It start off in the schools. Well, you know, how parents they sell the trend. Boy, don't take no lash from them, you know.
Hit them back.
Cuff them down. Choke them up with your pen. You encouraging that kind of nonsense.
And then they are not coming to
so a child have all that kind of consciousness.
Yep.
To think that
doing what is
we just doing what they tell us to do to protect ourselves. Yeah, the school are providing a certain level of protection for children, and in some ways people just need to protect themselves, but I mean, you can't encourage your children to do them kind of thing.
Yeah, that's correct.
That to me is what is creating some of the problems. Yeah. So you have to hold parents responsible in some ways. Parents have to know that. Job. Yeah, parents have to know that. Hey, listen, you have to be responsible, right? You can't be doing the things that would foster and encourage crime down the road, right? Because crime is a learned behavior, you know? And it starts from home. Look here, what nobody says, it starts from home. It starts, or those who don't have home, because there are people living a certain kind of lifestyle. Sometimes it's funny to even understand. Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Empires. Again, a quick question, Mr. Matheson and Mr. Moya. But didn't the last administration collect property tax for all this stuff for the garbage truck? I think they said the money was going to the constituencies.
Well, I don't know if I don't know. I can't say. I don't know if where it was going. If it was going into consolidated funds. If it was going, they did indicate. They did indicate that it was going to be going into the corporations at some point in time. But the mode, the mechanism how they was collecting it, it probably would have gone into consolidated funds. But remember they stopped that, right? That was one of the things that was immediately stopped. I don't know if people was eventually giving back their monies, but they did stop that. And but if they stop it and had money in it, then you know, I get your point. Maybe it could have been used now to be able to augment or facilitate that kind of situation where you have garbage collection. There's a need and you don't have the money to do it.
But I can tell you where it's going on. Some people pockets very deep there, so we seeing it now. So I hope people seeing.
But
all right,
I wouldn't go as far as to say that they collect it and they pocket it, because it didn't have you couldn't do that. I mean, nobody could really do that just like that, the way the money was collected. But you could say that they maybe collected and they diverted into areas that they saw at the time as important, and that is something that again, good governance could address at some point in time.
And before I leave, and you see, this is the thing that the population is asking the questions for the opposition now. Ask them. These are the questions you have to ask them. Don't always go at the government. Ask the past administration what they did.
Well, as I have said over the last few days, I've said that I will be one of the first person to criticize this Baton team when I see the need to criticize them, because that's the kind of person I am, right? But these people now came in office. They came in office. They haven't had a budget since they came in office. So the fumes, the country running on fumes now. Everybody know that. The country running on fumes now. Nothing can happen, right? So we just had to try to survive it. They just pay recurrent expenditure, salaries and that kind of thing. People try to survive it until the next budget. You may have emergency funds, you know, things. But when that happens, if 6 months after that new budget, you're not seeing where things are going, because it might take a 3 to procure certain things, and then an next 2 for certain things to start happening. But you should see a trajectory. The budget should tell you something.
Yeah.
And that is, and then is when I will start to judge them. And I am almost sure they will not give the people of Trinidad and Tobago an opportunity to say that they're doing craziness.
Yeah, and exactly, Mr. Matterson.
Because they learn from the mistakes.
This is what they learn from the mistakes. And this is, you see, with this garbage problem here, ask the opposition now what they did with the money. And these are questions they're not asking. The people have to start to ask questions. Don't always look at one party who haven't done a budget, as you say correctly. All right? So look on listening.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, again, you know, I don't believe the other side, Simoya, have the moral authority really
to ask those questions.
Really ask them questions right now, because then the fingers going to be pointing back at themselves. So, my thing is, I not even complaining about nothing I can't fix. Right? Let the people do what they have to do. They have until, for me, they have until probably April next year, and then we could start to really see, you know, what they're doing or what they're not doing. Right? That's my opinion. You know, what we were talking earlier on about the issue of contracts, and we didn't finish saying, we didn't finish exactly, I mean, hallucinating on some of the challenges workers would have some time in understanding their contract. You see, sometimes when you take a job, you want that job.
Yeah.
You really want. You ain't taking no time to really read the contract they give you to sign, right?
That's right.
Because you want that job.
I want the job.
So the employer and his representatives, his lawyer or his consultant or whoever, may put things in that contract that sometimes may put things in that contract that sometimes Let's take this call. Yeah, good evening, caller. Hello? Good evening, caller. Yeah, sometimes they put things in that contract that sometimes may favor him.
That's right.
The employer.
That's right.
And put the worker in a disadvantaged position. But really, the worker, you wanted that job real bad.
Yeah.
So you didn't take time to read that contract.
The information.
Or even if you read it, you didn't really want to challenge that.
Yeah.
But the news I have for the people who the employers who may do those kind of things is that the courts sometimes see through these things, and
course.
it becomes unfair terms
in
the contract, and it becomes voidable.
Yeah.
Good
afternoon, Paya.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to the young lady there.
Yeah, good afternoon.
That's a good program. I am what more to say. You just keep on playing the game, watch the ball inside and the bat inside.
Yes, we do that all the time. We watch the ball inside and the bat inside. And we try to be fair too. We try to be objective in our analysis with the ball inside and the bat. Because the ball inside did do some, they did pull on some baton to it.
Yeah.
I mean, they did.
Well, the ball inside now, them was there for the last 9 years, them was batting.
Yeah, and the bat. How much runs they was able to put on the board is what we either didn't know. Because when they came out, they said nobody can make more runs than that wicket. You remember that?
Sure.
They say we could cook if you get a dragon deal. And now we say
cook.
Yeah, they say we cook.
Yeah.
No,
all eggs, the poor eggs in one basket.
Yes.
But I'm tired, we can't really pressure the government because we have about 90 days, nearly 4 months they're in government.
Correct.
So we have to give them time. You have a budget to read.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see.
And after that, we could come out and talk and see we have to say.
And make noise. At least when they
read
the budget.
Noise, right now we can't make noise. We have to just back and watch and see what's going on. Right now they're doing a good job right now.
Yeah. And,
no complaint.
And even when they read the budget will just tell us, just show us, give us like a trajectory as to where they intend to go.
Yeah, they're going to tell you
right?
Much money was ministry, what money not ministry, and that and everything else.
But even that will tell us something about where the mine is. Huh?
Yeah, man?
Yeah.
You know, CPAP closer right now. You know, today I go down in town. You know, I see all the cutting grass. We come to the bush, the corporation workers and reporters with corporation.
Well, they'll do what they'll do now.
They'll come out and work hard. They'll come out and work hard for the money too.
Yeah. You see?
And when the structure, the CPAP structure, I hope the guy raise their pay and
I feel like
because they do a good job.
I feel like what they're gonna do. I feel like they're gonna raise the pay and thing and make them work as a salary. If that's what you want and you don't want to get weaned out of the program and then come and work as a salary and do what you're supposed to do. And if it's working, you shut down the program.
But you can't be working 15 years and you can't go in the bank and get a loan.
Exactly.
You can't get nothing. That ain't making no sense.
That ain't making no sense. But I think they will fix that. I think if
let's sell up to the young lady, let's reach up and take care of the young lady for me, right?
Yeah, she well taken care of.
Yeah, man, bless.
Thank you.
A young heart. Good evening, caller.
It's me again, Joe. Take no responsibility now. Let us be individually accountable, responsible.
Correct.
Transparency, accountability. Let us look at the man in the mirror. Let us look at the man in the mirror.
Yes.
I know politicians on both sides. And I hardly hear anybody saying, oh, let's make sure that we show content of do all the work. I hear those union and them speak. I never hear the saying, all the negotiators for more money, but let me remind you all, we need to do what we're supposed to do. We need to restore content. We need to do what we're supposed to do. We ought to be responsible as as adults especially. As adults especially. Okay, my friend, have a nice evening.
Thank
you. All have a nice evening.
Thank you. Thank you, caller. Yeah. So I was saying, you know, when the government really, when the government read the budget the next month and something, it should tell you by when you look at the kind of allocations in certain places.
Yeah.
I am waiting patiently to see what are the allocations for things like agriculture.
Yeah.
Because, you know, one of my pet peeves is if we can't feed ourselves, we can't be calling ourselves independent. So let me see what the government going to do to facilitate persons who have an active interest in developing agriculture.
Yeah.
What are they going to do for themselves to develop agriculture? Because to me that, if you could promote something, promote a system where we could feed ourselves, that in my opinion would be one of the best thing to take Trinidad and Tobago from where we are to the next level, even if we come into our next oil boom.
Yeah.
Because that Exxon deal, that sounds like with the kind of investment Exxon want to put into it looks to me like they really find something, it's significant. But we can't really put all our eggs in that basket thinking that, listen, we go down and get some money and maybe we should just go back to the old ways.
Yeah.
Right? See what Guyana doing? Guyana don't want to hear we, you know. Guyana say, listen, we don't want to follow, we don't want to make the same mistakes Trinidad and Tobago make.
Yeah.
They're doing something, they have a sovereign wealth fund, and they're doing something just like what Norway did. And that's what we were supposed to do. Right? Now, we have a heritage and civilization fund, but that came late, one, and two, that was never enough to save us from the crisis we are about to face.
No, correct.
Right? So, which is why we say we suffered from the Dutch disease, because clearly we thought it wasn't going to finish, and we didn't save and invest in the way we should have.
Correct.
And so today Trinidad is in the place it is in, and crime seems to be unfixable, you know, all kind of thing. And listen, crime also has
looking for solutions.
Crime also has a genesis in that kind of bad management too, because if people don't have no means of survival,
then they go
they
into
will,
that side.
it will reach anarchy.
Yeah.
Right? People will try to do things, strange things to survive, and that is of concern. Right?
Of course.
So we come into a close, ladies and gentlemen, listeners. We are on our last 2 minutes. What you would like to tell Trinidad and Tobago in relation to where we go today and how we should go?
Now, it's just again about being responsible. We started off at some point talking about performance, productivity, and these are the values that you have to have even from within the home. What you encourage in your home is what's going to be demonstrated when you come out.
Exactly.
So if you have a belief that, you know, anything is anything and you could just get by, it's going to happen in the schools. And then you start working, it's going to happen there too.
Some people give up to it, some families and some parents, mothers, you know, single mothers. You have a lot of single mothers out there. And they just give up. They just say, listen, it's hard, you know. It's really hard, you know. People,
it's hard for
some
everyone.
mothers are working, you know. It's really hard for some people.
Yeah.
And you have to also take all those things into consideration.
That's correct.
How difficult. Come down from your high horses and understand what is really happening outside it.
That's right.
It's not better roses.
And for me, I always encourage the youth, if you are
because some people want to work, but they ain't getting no work
but
like
they ain't
that.
getting work.
It happening.
Yeah.
So even that, we have to consider that also. So the government will have to put some programs in place to develop young people. We were talking about the internship programs yesterday. I think there are some by some companies, but maybe not enough.
Yeah.
So maybe you'll want to give some companies maybe some tax breaks and things to be able to do that.
That's
for citizens. All these things play a big part in how we move forward, how we develop ourselves as a country. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've said a lot today, and we will be leaving you now, and we will see you tomorrow.
Have a good evening.
Have a good evening.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM for Gospel in the Bone Ministry every Sunday from 7:05 a.m.